All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Behind the Reel. I've got a special guest today, Mr. Phat Basses TV. Welcome to the show.
How are y'all doing?
Make sure you guys check him out, Phat Basses TV, on YouTube and Instagram.
Instagram and TikTok, whatever you want. Anything social media, I'm all over that thing, man.
He's a TikToking son of a gun. So,
Minus the dances.
I heard you're pretty good at dancing too. So you'll have to show that. Stick around to the end of the show. We're gonna make Joel dance for you. So just there you go.
I can do the truffle shuffle. How about that?
Okay, so the purpose of today's video, Joel is a new club member. So this is gonna be all about the Air Capital Kayak Anglers and the 2021 season. He fished one tournament.
Yeah, one tournament and the Hobie 14 Pro Angler that
Yep.
John sponsored me last year with Russell Marine products. It was an awesome kayak. If you guys haven't ever ran in a Hobie, you guys need to.
Check him out, man.
They're freaking sweet.
His problem was he just couldn't keep the dang things on the board long enough to get a picture. I think he would have had a limit, right?
Yeah, I would have. I had like 7.
So he would have had a limit. So, hey, this is all a learning process.
Yes, it is. Yes,
So-
it is.
So the point of bringing him along is because he's somewhat of a noob, right? So he's going to have, to the kayak fishing thing.
There we go. I was like
Fair
dang.
He's somewhat of a noob to this whole kayak fishing thing, fishing tournaments and stuff. So, you know, he's going to have some of the same questions that you guys are going to have. And so hopefully this will give a little bit different perspective. That's kind of the whole idea behind the reel idea. So we just want to get in there and find out as much as we possibly can and give you guys a little bit different perspective. So this is a little bit different spin-off, but I feel like it still belongs in that behind the reel category. So first off, we're going to be fishing a tournament series. This is like an Angler of the Year series, so your cumulative score throughout the year will determine how you finish in the season. So
Yeah, Marco, you hear that? I'm coming for you, bud.
So yeah, we did just film a behind the reel episode with Marco as well, the reigning 2020 ACKA Aoy champion, and so stay tuned for that one if it hasn't aired already. If so, I'll just drop it in the card. How do you say that?
You can drop
He's like
it,
a YouTube
drop
pro.
it in the link in the bio below. Jeez, I just messed all that up. Holy smokes. Drop the link in the bio below. There we go.
So I could do that, and then I can also do the card thing.
Yeah, right there. Top right corner.
Which is the right?
I really don't know. That's something. I don't point. I just say, I heard something.
It'll be up here somewhere.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyways, so what we're going to be discussing today is just how all this stuff works. So some of the guys that have been along for the ride the last few years, you might want to stay tuned as well. Some things are changing. We're making some changes to our rules, to how we score, payouts. So all these things are changing. So for the new guys, we'll answer all your questions. For the guys that have been around, you guys might want to stay tuned as well. So I'm looking at our website for you guys that maybe want to reference this before, during, or after the video. It's aircapitalkayakanglers.com. Capitals with an AL. A lot of people do OL, and I think sometimes that's right, and then sometimes it's not.
Dude, it's America, you know. You never know. There's 2 different ways to spell color, I guess. Like
OU?
like yeah,
Well,
OU.
that's not American. That's like,
I know, but that's
like
just
England
weird.
or something.
I think the Canadian way of
Okay.
spelling stuff is there. I don't know. Maybe
well, I think there's businesses out there that spell it with an OL, but I think I tried to do research before I named the club because I was like, which one do I use? And I came up with AL. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't freaking know.
typo.
Anyways, aircapitalkayakanglers.com. I'm looking at the ACKA 2021 membership, and the first thing we see here is $20 per angler by February 28th, $30 per angler after February 28th. So what that means is for your annual membership, it's going to be $20 if you pay before March 1st. If you pay after March 1st, you can still join the club, but it'll cost you another $10. So if you haven't got your club membership paid, go ahead, and the next line here is send money to aircapitalkayakanglers@gmail.com via PayPal. Make sure you do the friends or family or pay the fees. The club loses out on like 88 cents or $1.88 or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But we want all that money to go to the club, because what we are doing with that membership fee is we're actually splitting it down the middle. Half of that is going to AOY. So at the end of the year, whoever wins Angler of the Year will get that money. And then also the other funds that will go to that AOY payout is going to be a 10% of each entry fee. So we're doing $30 per entry per tournament. So $3 per angler per event.
And
will
it's
go
still
towards,
$10 big bass, right? And
So-
that is optional, I believe. I read on the rules yesterday.
It is optional, and that is 100% payout. So none of the big bass money will go towards AOY. So we do a $30 entry fee, $10 optional big bass. The way it works is if you don't pay big bass, you end up catching the big bass. So just so you know,
Yeah,
that's how it always
I
works.
mean, it's better to take a $10 gamble and come out with $300 or $400, than
Yeah.
not come out with $300 or $400. So,
But it's
that's the way
funny.
I see it.
I've seen that happen a few times where guys
Oh, yeah.
like they don't pay and then they win the big bass, or would have won
Yeah.
the big bass. So yeah, I mean, if we have, I did the math the other day, $3 per angler per event. Let's say we average 20 anglers, that is $60 per event, and then we have 8 events. So let's say we could, if we maintained an average of 20 per event, that's $480. So 60 times 8. I might be wrong. Does that sound right to you?
I'm not a math wizard.
So 480 plus we've already got 25 anglers that have paid, so that's $250. So we're already talking about, $700
Yeah,
if we can maintain that. So at the end of the year, somebody's going to get a big chunk of change, and you're going to be able to buy some new lures or a new rod, or maybe upgrade to a new pedal kayak. Maybe that's something you're looking forward to doing. So anyways, that's how that whole payout structure as far as AOY goes. And then the other half of that membership fee will go towards prizes, awards, and paying event permits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have to obtain those.
I was gonna say you should see. So I think John could probably pop up a picture on the screen here if he took a screenshot and posted it in video of some of the trophies that they've been giving out, dude. They are legitimately so sweet, and I can't wait to have one or a few hanging up in my garage.
Yeah, so we used to do a trophy per event. I think I'm gonna try to do that again. We got away from that last year. Last year was kind of a weird year altogether, just with all the COVID stuff and everything. So that was kind of a good excuse for me to drop the ball, I guess. But hey,
It is what it is.
I'm back on my game here, and I'm not sure what we're gonna do for the awards, but we have had some pretty cool awards in the past. I'm thinking something that will be easy to display, so like a plaque or something like that you can hang on the wall or put on the mantle or whatever.
I really like those glass trophies that you had or whatever.
Yep. So that glass one is a traveling trophy that is provided by the Labette County Department of Tourism. That is for the King of the Hill event. So you guys make sure to check that out. That is an annual.
So you don't get to keep it forever. You just pass it on to the next person who wins. Okay.
Yep, that is an annual event, and it is basically, an individual will win the event, but you will also have like an accumulative team score, and the top 3 anglers from each club will represent their team, and whichever club wins gets to take the trophy home. Pretty cool format.
Well, as of the standings on the ACKA right now, I'm actually second.
Yep. Yes, he is. He is right. So that is something that you guys can see on the website as well. We've got the AOY tab that we will look at here in a minute. So that's what the club funds go to. Now, you may fish one tournament as a non-member. You will not receive AOY points for an event that you are not a paid member. So if you decide, if you say, okay, I want to fish an event, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it to any more in the future, you fish that event and you win it, you don't receive any AOY points. So that is important to understand. If you think this is something you're going to get into, if you think this is something you're going to fish more than one event, go ahead and get it paid. That way, if you do well, you get your points.
Yeah, because one thing, guys, I just want you to know that this sport is extremely fun and addicting. It's fun to go out there. Like we had only 5 or 6 of us at the same lake last time I was out there. Or something
Yeah, that
like
was an online one.
Yep, and it was a lot of fun. But the deal was, like, me and Lance were talking bass kicking outdoors, and we're like, man, that's just, we kind of sucked. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year, in all honesty. And then we got to talking again. I was like, I started pimping out my kayak, and I was really getting into it. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, heck yeah, I am so going to be doing that this year. And that's what we kind of think. And next thing we know it, Lance buys the Old Town Autopilot, and here we are. We're dedicated this year, dude.
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun. The rigging aspect of it is something that it's like there's always, I've been hashtagging this. I think I made it up. I don't know. Maybe somebody else out there's never stop rigging.
Yeah.
It's like we're always rigging. Like you're pouring soft plastics.
Yeah.
You're putting lights on your kayak. You're getting your seat up. I mean, there's just like there's always something.
Yeah. One thing I love about kayak fishing too is like the DIY perspective of it, because you can literally go to Lowe's, spend $40 on PVC, and you can make something freaking sweet.
Sure.
Like I just made rod holders the other day for $40. That 4 extra rod holders. They just slide in my 2 existing ones, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
You can't see it. It's buried down there, but it's a milk crate and PVC pipes that I zip tied, PVC tubing that I zip tied to the milk crate.
Yeah.
And that's what I've used for 5 years now.
I think I'm gonna modify my next project. Is I'm gonna modify it because my kayak has a split section, like actual molded in section for a giant cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna stick that cooler in there. I'm gonna have an extra like battery for my fish finder, and also I want to split it in half, and then I can put like all my actual tackle in there if I don't want to put it underneath my seat, and extra like line and crap like that.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna run my rod holders into that as well, so I'll have 8 rod holders actually. So that's kind of what I'm banking on for this upcoming thing. So
that's cool. Yeah, that's that whole part of it can be addictive as well. Is not only just fishing. I think the fish eluding you is almost like the biggest inspiration. Like, okay, well I got my butt kicked last time, so I got to get out there and.
I wouldn't have had my butt kicked so bad if I would have been able to take pictures.
So that's something you can practice on. I mean, we've got an event coming up here in just a month. So
yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember. We were talking about it last night if it was March or April, and I could not remember for the life of me.
20th. So, and somebody just posted a picture. One of my friends, Kyra, she just posted a picture of that lake completely iced over still. So
that's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be cold. I mean, I would imagine probably a low 30-degree water temp at, right now.
Yeah, right now. Hopefully it stays in the 50s.
Hopefully we're creeping into the 50s, but I think that might be a little bit wishful thinking, depending on what happens here in the next couple weeks.
And see, that's where people are going to wish they had a graph that actually read the bottom pretty well, because you're going to be looking for that timber structure and all that stuff, like sunken stuff, so you can really get on them.
And there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot. The Winfield City Lake, or Timber Creek, is the other name for it. But okay, so as we scroll down here, and we'll get off subject, guys. We're gonna veer off into these little alleys and avenues, and that's what this is all about. We want to try to answer as many questions as we can, I guess, before they come up. But if you guys have any questions that we don't answer, go ahead and make sure you comment below, and we will get those answered later on. So you may fish one tournament as a non-member, but you will not receive Aoy points. If you want to fish a second Air Capital event, then you do have to be a paid member. So current ACKA members, I believe the list is up to 25 as of today. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this link here, and this is going to take me to the club rules. This is a drop down that you can get to from the home screen on our website. And this is the rules and regulations for the 2021 season. I may have a couple changes here and there, but this is going to be pretty much everything. I think we were talking about maybe figuring out whether or not we want to allow towing. With the introduction of motors, I might be giving away too much, but with the introduction of motors, I think this is something we need to consider. So I think we're going to look at a couple of the more national scale events and see what they're allowing, and probably base our determination off of towing, whether that's with your motor or your pedal drive kayak. We'll probably base that off of what the BASS guys specifically are allowing. That's probably what I'll base that off of, since we're affiliated with them, the KBN. So
are we going to be competing this year? Here's a good first question. Bam. Are we going to be competing for another spot in the KBF Nationals or whatever happened last year? I don't remember the exact what it was called, but you know what I'm talking about.
That was That was the Bassmaster.
Okay.
So that was the Kansas Bass Nation Kayak Division state championship that we had.
Gotcha.
So we will be doing that again. KBF, I don't. We haven't done anything with KBF in years and years. We used to. I don't know. I'm just personally not a big fan. I suppose if you guys, the anglers, if the club members wanted to, I'd consider doing that.
Leave a comment down below what you think.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, it doesn't make me any difference whether or not we're giving away. See, the thing, and also the thing that kind of helped me make that decision was we had guys that were qualifying for KBF slots and not fishing. So a lot of the guys in the group just weren't venturing outside of the club. They're just fishing within the club, and that's kind of the extent of their tournament fishing. So as you grow as a tournament angler, you'll either move on to, those national events or just continue to do the local stuff. So that was part of my decision making. But yeah, comment below. What do you think? Should we do the KBF thing? We're definitely going to do the Bassmaster.
Yeah,
definitely going to do that.
I think that's going to be a good thing because I'm looking forward to trying to get out there this year.
So, and the cool thing about the Bassmaster, I mean, it's going to be, the KBF has a big tournament too, big prize pot as well. I mean, they give away tons of money.
I think last year was like 100,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
The Bassmaster, basically, you're going to be fishing a tournament in conjunction with the Bassmaster Classic. So this is like the kayak equivalent of the Bassmaster Classic, and they're doing $50,000 to the winner, which is still
good
not
chunk of change.
Yeah. So some of the guys that signed up through KBN last year are actually paid up till the end of 2021. So if you signed up and you fished that event last year at Big Hill, you're still good. You don't owe anything for this year. So something to keep in mind as well. All right, so first thing on the rules here, each angler must be required to have a valid Kansas State fishing license. That kind of just doesn't even really need to be elaborated on. Each angler will be required to wear a whistle and PFD personal flotation device at all times. The whistle thing really just goes back to requirements by the state. And,
I didn't even know about the whistle thing, so that's new to me. I just have the PFD.
Yep.
I always made fun of Lance because I'd never seen anybody else with a whistle, and Lance's is just bright orange right there, and I just,
Yep.
yeah.
Get a whistle. I've had guys that fall in, and we've had guys that fall in March, April, and that's
still
not
hypothermia weather.
That's not fun. So you need to be able to get somebody's attention at that point and get some help. So, that's what that's all about. So when it comes down to it, really just read the local laws when it comes to kayak fishing and abide by those, and you'll be good. We're doing approved measuring devices. We're doing the hog trough, kind of the OG, tried and true. We're not kicking that thing out just yet. You see a lot of series that are doing away with the hog trough because of controversy. You've seen that?
No, I haven't seen that. I heard them kicking them, but I don't know.
The bending of the boards, they're just a lot more flimsy. So they've had guys that were gaining length by pushing down. They would have one end of the board elevated, and then they would push down to the point where it would actually
give them another like 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wasn't giving them a whole lot, but it was an issue, and it got addressed. And so they're using the some of them are only using the aluminum catch boards because of that. But the catch carbonite is much stiffer for sure. I don't think you're bending that one.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I got from you just the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, the catch
it's
carbonate.
It's a nice board.
It is a very nice board. So we're doing the hog trough, the catch carbonate, and the catch aluminum. I do know they just came out the catch X, I believe. Lance was telling me about it, and we'll probably allow that one as well.
I'm sure he bought one.
He may have. Artificial lures only. We're not doing any live bait or anything like that. Must only fish with one rod at a time. No limit on how many you can carry on your vessel. So, you can't have 2 lines in the water at once. Must follow all rules and regulations set by the park or body of water the tournament is held on. Must follow all Kansas state laws while attending ACKA events. We will do a waiver. We've kind of gotten away from that in the past, but we'll go ahead and go back to that waiver system where you're going to have to sign a waiver and at least have that on file for the year. Just basically saying if you get hurt or something, it's not our fault. Permitted fishing vessels include kayaks, canoes, stand-up paddleboards, and inflatable kayaks. So if you guys have any questions on what that might mean, you can, message me or drop a comment or something.
I don't know about you, but inflatable kayaks would be kind of sketchy in my opinion.
Yeah,
because I was like, you set the hook wrong and you're going down, baby, with all your gear.
Yeah, I haven't seen an inflatable kayak out there, but like the Hobie ones, they have some really cool ones.
Oh yeah, I've never seen one. I've never seen the.
They're not like
Hobies.
a Walmart, raft type thing. I mean, they're thick and they have some really cool ones. Actually, Josie with the Northeast Kansas Kayak Anglers, he fished out of one probably several times last year, but I saw him out there at Melbourne fishing it, and that's a pretty cool boat. Any watercraft not listed as an approved fishing vessel must be cleared with me prior to the event. Then we start getting into the motor aspects of this. So if you guys are looking to add a motor to your kayak, make sure you're following the rules here. An electric motor used to propel a watercraft may not exceed the lesser of a manufacturer's labeled maximum horsepower thrust capacity of 3 horsepower or 155 foot-pound thrust. So, I mean, that being said,
that thing would be scooting.
You could run a 36-volt trolling motor on your freaking kayak if you wanted.
Scooting, dude.
Now, the 3 horsepower, I'm not sure how those Torqeedos, like how quick they get, but I would imagine that's probably going to accommodate the Torqeedos because a lot of those guys are using the Torqeedo. But, you'll see guys that are putting spot lock trolling motors up at the, mounting them to the bow. You see that becoming more and more common.
I've seen that on a couple 133Xs on the Ascends. They have they have that massive bow in the front, and they just bolt them suckers right down to there, and they have spot lock and all that crap. So it's impressive what people come up with.
To me, I think that if you were adding a motor, now if you had a pedal kayak and you were adding a motor, it wouldn't even be worth it unless you had spot lock.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the Torqeedos are cool, but I don't think
not $4,000 cool.
I don't think they have spot lock. So I mean, I think for a couple grand, $1,500, $2,000, you could have something with spot lock. That'd make more sense to me.
Then you don't have to have an anchor either.
Yeah, exactly. Competitors must comply with all boating regulations pertaining to motorized kayak, electric propulsion, watercraft, registration, use and operating restrictions for the designated fishing area. So that means you got to register your kayak once you put a motor on it in the state of Kansas. So make sure you guys are doing that. And here's the deal, guys. If you guys aren't following these rules, I'm going to have to enforce them, and that's not going to be fun. So just, if you put a motor on your kayak, register it, because technically I'll have to DQ you if you don't. So that's not going to be fun.
That means no money.
No money. Yeah, that means you got a 0 for the day.
Feels like I'm back in elementary school.
Okay, so now we are looking at no more than one electric motor may be attached to the kayak. Okay, yeah. You don't want to do that anyways, do you?
That'd be insane.
Have like a trolling motor in the front.
A Torqeedo in the back.
It's getting crazy, I know, and there's some people out there like, man, what, don't allow pedal kayaks or don't allow motors. But like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so my deal is people get mad because people are, some people have money, some people don't. And that's kind of what it boils down to.
Sure.
Like, they think it's unfair. But again, save up your money, buy something worthwhile if you don't like it, I mean, the other guys spent their money on it, so I'm sure you can too. Just don't be a crybaby and live with it. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, it's kind of blunt, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that the purist of kayak fishing, they look at it, and maybe these are guys that have the money to do that with, but they like the kayak fishing aspect of it, where the technology and stuff. But then, where do you draw the line? I mean, at that point, if you're worried about motors, I mean, do you even want people to be able to run electronics? Do you want somebody to have a fish? So where would you draw that line? And I think that in order for this sport to grow, you know,
You
of
got to
course,
adapt to what's going on now with like
yeah.
all the
If we want to have attendance in our club, and we didn't allow motors, then we're just setting ourselves up for maybe
ultimate
not being able to
failure,
attract as many people. And at the end of the day, it's still kayak fishing.
Mm-hmm.
You're still getting up in those hard to get places. You're still.
See, I don't really care about the purity of the kayak fishing sport. I care about efficiency. If I can get somewhere where I know there's fish faster than what the other guy can, because it's here we're coming up on the rules where it says you cannot follow a person, and if it's there, you got to move on. So pretty much, right? That's what those rules are in there. So if I can beat a particular individual to a spot where I know there's fish, that's all I care about, because I'm not going to let somebody else get there first. If I'm all about efficiency, man, I'm about winning. Money's money, and I'm taking it home.
There you go. So so that'll be something we touch on here. But stay 25 yards away from competitors, unless agreed upon by both parties. That's basically if you're uncomfortable with how close somebody is to you, tell them. I don't really want to hear about it after the fact. I mean, unless you told them and they were just like, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
I don't really want to say, well, hey, he was, 25 yards away from me. Well, did you ask him to move, or did you? No, I didn't. Okay. Well,
That's
everybody
your own fault.
be mindful. 25 yards isn't even that far.
Yeah, you can still hit him with a jig.
25 yards isn't really that far. So, I mean, I get it. Like, that could be uncomfortable for somebody. Just, you don't want to be that guy anyways. You don't want to be that guy that's just following somebody around. You don't want to be the guy that is maybe disrupting somebody else's fishing. But at the same time, it may be fair game. So it just kind of is what it is. You see some of those guys on TV fishing the Elite Series stuff, and they're like literally like this sometimes.
Yeah, on top
it's crazy.
Of each other, yeah.
And it gets pretty heated,
Oh yeah, I love it.
It gets pretty heated, and it'll get that way in the kayak world too. But around here, it's kind of more of a laid-back deal. But at the end of the day, we're competing, so just be mindful of that. Try to give each other their own space, and you're going to want that in return as well. So, yeah, if somebody's there, maybe just move on, or stay far enough away, or fish behind them. I mean, there's days where I've gone and fished behind somebody because they were at my spot,
caught the fish they missed,
and then caught the ones that. I mean, that happens.
Yeah,
that happens. So
I seen a guy on YouTube the other day. He was fishing with Milliken, and Milliken was up there. He caught like maybe 2 or 3, and the guy was right behind him on like the backside of the boat. On the stern back there, and he smoked like 5 or 6 of them that Milliken already passed up, and I was just laughing.
Yep, that happens. Okay, so off limits period is 6 days prior to tournament start. This is something that is important. We will lay this out, I think I said 2 weeks in advance. So you guys are not going to have any question as to when off periods limits are. Okay, so on the state fishing lakes, we will do 6 days prior to the tournament. It will be off limits. Okay, so on Winfield, we'll probably adjust that. We'll fine tune that a little bit. We'll allow you to pre-fish, just because the size of the lake will allow you to pre-fish a little bit closer up to the start date. And then on some of the bigger bodies of water, we'll even allow it up, all the way up till the event. So, but on all the state fishing lakes, let me go back here, and I'll tell you right off the bat, schedule, we're looking at Butler, Cowley, Lyons. I mean, that's
strip mines, all sorts of stuff.
Butler, Cowley, and Lyons are the ones that we're going to do the pre-fishing on. 6 days. 6 days ahead. We're not going to allow pre-fishing. So the first one, March 20th, Winfield City Lake. April 10th, Butler State Fishing Lake. We'll do this 6 days off limits there. The Big Hill, that one's big enough. We'll allow pre-fishing on that one. I'll have to double check with Jacob, but I'm pretty sure you can fish that one up until the day before. June 19th, is Cowley State Fishing Lake. That one we'll do the off limits on. Lyon State Fishing Lake we'll do the off limits on. That is July 17th. July 31st, we're all going to go down and fish the mine land, the strip pits, and that is going to be all 4 clubs in the state are going to go down there. Flint Hills Kayak Anglers, Northeast Kansas Kayak Anglers, Air Capital, and Southeast Kansas Kayak Anglers. We're all going to go down there and fish that event. That'll be a really cool.
So is there any kayak anglers like groups out in the west side of Kansas? No. Because like my buddy bought a kayak and he's like way out there in the west side and he wants to do it. And I think we're the closest that he's got. And he's like, man, I want to compete, but I don't want to drive 3.5 hours to every event, to Wichita. And then if it's in Big Hill, then it's like 5 or 6.
Jay Schwarzkopf, he's from out west a little ways. Great Bend is where he's at, and he travels and
this guy's out
fishes
like
with
hour from Colorado border.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. So no, yeah. I mean, if they want to do something out there, they're gonna have to do like I did and just
start one up.
That's
what I told him. I was like, you're probably gonna have to start one, dude. And I was like, I don't know. There's not very much water out there that way either.
Yeah, that's what I heard. August 7th, we're doing Eureka City Lake. That one's big enough. We'll allow some pre-fishing on that one. And then El Dorado, September 25th, we'll do some pre-fishing on that one
that's
too.
That's a big lake too.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. So.
Okay, here's a question.
Yeah.
So, are we just allowing? Because El Dorado, we know, casual bass guy. He was supposed to be here today, and he's not. But he went out and he caught some smallmouth out there, right?
Yeah.
So, are we allowed to, since it's bass tournaments, are we allowed to count smallmouth as well as largemouth? Okay.
Yep. We'll do black bass.
Okay.
So that means largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass.
Okay. So any bass goes, I guess.
No white bass.
Yeah. If you can find a white bass over a foot, you let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so no wiper and stuff like that too. So, but yeah. So we'll do the black bass species. So smallies, yeah. Smallies are going to come into play at El Dorado. They're going to come into play at Big Hill.
I didn't even know Big Hill had smallies either.
Mm-hmm. There's some good ones in there.
Maybe I'll have to throw an old drop shot on there.
And maybe even in the strip pits, there might be some smallies. Okay, so off limits period, it will restrict fishing of any kind, whether it's from the boat, bank, or kayak. It will also restrict recreational kayaking and boating. So this off limits period means you're not on the water. You're not swimming, you're not fishing, it just means don't be on the water. Off limits period will to apply to all Kansas State fishing lakes under, I put 250 acres on there. There may be some exceptions there. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure all those state fishing lakes are going to be under that 250 acre that we talked about. Pre-fishing will be allowed on the bigger bodies of water, kind of like we talked about. Yes, so pre-fishing guidelines will be posted 2 weeks before each event. This is something I'm going to do better at this year. You guys are going to hold me accountable. We're going to post this stuff. There's going to be no question. If you're not on Facebook, it'll be on the website as well.
Okay, here's a question too, because I noticed last year we let some guys from Oklahoma compete with us. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be allowed this year as well, or do they have to meet us up here at the body of water and actually fish with us in order to compete?
You mean?
Because like they stayed in Oklahoma and they were posting the pictures of their fish on the Tourney X thing, and then we were out at the designated lake that we were supposed to be at. So are they still going to be able to compete, or will they have to show up to the lake that we are at to actually compete?
I don't think that happened.
Well, I mean the guy, because remember the one that I fished in, there was like the guys from Oklahoma and they were on different bodies of water than what we were at.
Yeah, but they weren't in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
They were in Kansas.
Okay.
So probably like Ryan Brook.
I was like, I don't know, but I know one of them was a beast.
Ryan Brooks probably. He's a hammer. He's a Oklahoma guy, and he will come up and fish events. So and then
I'm looking forward to meeting you, Ryan, because you're a hammer, dude. Like I said, I was looking at your stats on Tourney X, and I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, he competes with Southeast Kansas guys as well. He is a paid member as well for this year, 2021. So he's going to be fishing a few of them with us. So excited to have him back. He's caught some good fish in our events along the way. But yeah, so if it's if we do like an online event where it's a Kansas only, then we'll be able to see that like on the Tourney X side of things. All these events that we just talked about, they're going to have to be at that lake.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
We will meet up the morning of, and they'll have to be at the check-in. They'll have to be at the captain's meeting. That's where you're going to get your code. That's where you're going to know what to write on your hand or put on your
Okay, I like that because
marker.
I was like, man, I can't wait to actually, because like I said, we had fun with just 6 guys. Imagine if 30 of us showed up in an actual tournament and just took over a whole lake would be insane.
Yep. No, it is. It's a lot of fun. So no, that's a good question. There may be some online stuff, but the online stuff is going to be different. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Yeah, these AOY events are going to be all in person. Unless something like crazy happens with COVID and we have to do something different. But still, we could still make sure that person was on that body of water. When you submit a fish, you can actually see where they're at through the Tourney X app.
Yeah, see that. That's nice.
So,
like, Oklahoma and Texas fish just hit a little bit different.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because there's some big ones.
Absolutely. Okay, late penalties, if not back to check in on time. Limit to 30 minutes, 5 inches per minute. So that's pretty devastating.
Yeah, that's
if you're 1 minute late to check in, you lost 5 inches.
That's insane.
And that could you could go from first place to fifth
real
place.
quick.
Yeah, 5 inches.
So what are you saying, guys? Do not be late.
Do not be late. So most of these events are going to be 7 to 3 or 6 to 2, depending on time of year. Like our first event of the year, will probably be 7 to 3. Just because the sun's coming down later in the day. So, be back by 3 o'clock, checked in, ready to submit your fish.
Or fear the wrath of John.
Grr. Cannot receive tips, communications with others, not fishing tournament during event. So, you can't be on the phone with your buddy and he's like telling you the juice. That's just, no, can't do that. I suppose you could, like, if I see you on the water and you're like, hey, what are you catching them on? That's okay. Must stay 25 yards away from each other. We talked about that. Angler must show up to captain's meeting on time or be penalized unless prior arrangements are made with tournament director and agreed upon by competitors of the event. So that's just something, if for some reason you're running late or something, you need to let me know and we'll try to figure something out if we can. If you're being dishonest, you will be disqualified for that event and suspended until the club can vote on your future participation.
Just saying, if you're cheating, I ain't voting you back in, bud. So that's one for me to already down.
Yeah.
Or if I see you bending a board like we're talking about with the hog trough, sorry about you. That's my feelings on it.
Yeah, we've had a cheater before. It's not fun, but the shame involved in that, you're not going to want to come back for sure. Yeah. I mean, we've had some guys do some outright cheating.
Like cutting the board and plastic welding it back together kind of
weighing the same fish multiple times.
Yeah.
And that was the issue that we ran into. And I think that guy doesn't even fish anymore because he's probably filled with so much guilt. But hey, that's on you, buddy. So don't cheat. You might not like the outcome of that.
Plus, I'm sure the guys that lost a couple $100 probably had some choice words, and if
I just might look
physical
the other
altercations.
way. I just might look the other way. Anglers are required to behave in a way that will reflect positively on our club, so that means don't beat the guy up if he cheats. Any deviation from this can result in angler suspension and or termination, which will be voted on as a club at a later time and date. So if you're just making the club look bad, then we're going to want to separate ourselves from you, So just be the whole idea behind that is we want you to be a positive influence on the sport, not only the sport as a whole, but as our club. We want to be known for doing positive things in the community, and we'll pick up on some of that too. And these are things that we've done in the past where we have adopted families and stuff like that and fed the homeless and things like that. So those are the type of things that we want to be known for and not for acting like a dum-dum.
We're back after a little GoPro Osmo Action malfunction.
I think my cameras were getting hot. I had them both plugged in, and I think they were just getting hot. So Okay, so yeah, we want to spread a positive message. If you're acting like a dum dum, then you won't get a fish with us anymore. I haven't had that happen, by the way. The only time I've ever had to kick somebody was when they were cheating. So um, we'll tolerate some foolishness.
I like that. I'm a pretty foolish guy.
He's kind of a goofball. All right, so where are we at? Do you have any questions for us? What is there anything that comes to mind, like as new to kind of kayak tournaments? Anything that maybe your buddies might ask, or any questions that you have gotten from your buddies?
Well, most of them are, we're wondering about payouts. I think we're going to get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much what it was. I was going to say they all have, like actual kayaks ready to use and all that stuff. So you don't, like, guys, you guys think that, oh, I have to have $1,000 kayak with a $1,500 fish finder and a trolling motor or something like that. That's not the case. Like my buddy Dane McKittrick, just the other day, he picked up a $250 freaking Pelican Argo at 100X or something like that. And that's all he needed to get into it, and he got himself like a little $90 fish finder for the Garmin Striker X4, and he's ready to rock and roll. So he's already got stuff pimping on his channel, and he's ready to rock.
Heck yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I tell people if you're worried about your budget, if you're worried about how much money you're going to end up spending, then just get something that floats. I mean, you don't have to go out there and buy a Hobie. You don't have to go out there and buy, a new Garmin unit with live scope. I mean, just get something that floats, get out there, fish, enjoy the outdoors, and go from there. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I started in a $200 sit inside. I was fishing tournaments out of that. So,
And I started with that little $300 lifetime angler 10 foot, and it like
yeah,
and it is what it is, man. Like, again, I found out that I liked fishing out of a kayak, kayak situation. Ended up selling that one, getting an Ascend 12T. I've been pimping the heck out of that thing, and I'm already ready to upgrade to a bigger one. In all honesty, because I've got too much crap I want to do.
yeah, yeah. No, it's addictive. It's addicting. That's for sure. Okay, so all fish must be landed from the kayak. Anglers are not permitted to exit their vessel to retrieve a fish. So, yeah, you can't go. There are like some other clubs out there or organizations out there that will allow you to like beach your kayak and fish from like the bank or something.
I don't like that.
I don't know. I just think it's a safety thing more than anything. I want you to stay in your boat. I don't want you doing, and I don't want you jumping in after the fish and getting the fish if, that's just a safety thing again. So these are just, things we're trying to look out for you guys on, and don't want to have to pull anybody out of the water. That's not going to be fun for anybody. So Cpr Scoring Rules: only fish caught from a kayak, canoe, or other approved human-powered vessel will count for this event. No bank fishing. That just kind of reiterates what I already said. A clear photograph of the fish with the mouth closed, head to the left, belly down, and tail in a natural, we say unpinched position. You want the tail centered as best you can. The tail pinch thing's not a big deal. I think what some people would consider a pinch tail, I would not. I just don't, I just don't want you visibly pinching the tail with your hand.
Not under the gill plate. I think that was one last year.
Yep. For each infraction, 1/4 of an inch can be deducted from total length of fish. Identifier must be present in all submissions, otherwise it doesn't count. So you could have the fish with today's newspaper, your birth certificate, I mean, you gotta have it. Sorry. Most common practice will be to write down the number on your hand with a Sharpie, or you have those tourney tags and stuff like that now as well.
So you can slide up your bump board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they've got some new ones that even.
I just hate Sharpie on my hands because, man, it just takes forever to get off. For me, anyway.
Yeah, you
I don't know.
have to
Some
do
people
that.
are different, but mine always takes forever to get off.
They've even got these holders that I think they make them for the catch boards, and it has so your board will be here, and then the tag will actually sit out here. So it's not even on the board, so you don't have to slide it up and down the board. I think I've taken a picture of a fish before and forgot to slide the tag down, to where it was visible in the picture. So that, just be mindful of that.
Is there a minimum length this year, or is that in the rules? Or
Minimum length, we'll just do 8 inches, I
8
think
inches?
is going to
Okay.
be. Yeah,
I was like, I didn't know if it was 8, 12, 15, 9.
we'll just do 8, whatever your board will score. Which I think the catch boards maybe go all the way
I don't
down.
even know. There's one right here.
Yeah, the catch boards go all the way down, but we'll just keep it at 8, I guess, because that's where the hog trough starts. So, okay. So yeah, clear picture. That's a big one. If your photo is not clear, if it's fuzzy or anything like that, then it's just going to be DQ'd. Sorry, but that's how people are getting away with cheating. Is they're taking fuzzy pictures and they're scoring the same fish twice. So just no, sorry. Sucks.
It is what it is.
But
Yep.
before you let that fish go, make sure you got a good picture. Check it out before you let that fish go. That's all I can
Earlier
say.
we touched on how last year I had failed to take like 7 pictures of fish because I caught like 5. I don't know. I caught between 5 and 7. I'd have to go back and rewatch my video, but I caught a crap load of fish, and every time I did, they would jump off. But this year I have a little bit more of a strategy down because I bought a net. I have some fish grips. So I'm gonna, like what John told me last time when we were heading back up here. He's like, I always put them back in the water, let them cool down, let them regain their stamina a little bit, and then you can put them there, and they're a lot more calmed down when they've been in the water for a little bit. And then if you have your net, you can put your, bump board right there, so if they flop off your bump board, they're more likely to land in the net, and you don't lose your fish. And that's 2 things that I'm going to be doing this year instead of, and then I mess around for, a good 30, 45 seconds, and they're getting irritated, and they're ready to move.
And it'll happen. I mean, it'll happen no matter what you do. I mean, it's just the name of the game. Yeah, there's nothing really you can do to make sure 100% it doesn't happen because, we're not going to allow anything on the fish while you're scoring it. You're not going to be able to leash it or anything. You can't have a lure in its mouth or anything like that. So
He looks at me because that's I only got 1 picture of a fish, and I left the lure in its mouth because I was tired of the day. I was like, I ain't playing that. Yeah,
I actually forgot about
I didn't
that.
even turn it in. I just took the picture just so I could say I caught one.
So yeah, I mean, there's going to be times where you still lose it no matter what. But yeah, these are things that some of us have done. Wet the board, hold it at a little bit of an angle, something that I do. I don't know how much it really helps. It's just what I've done, and maybe over time I've just had less of an issue with that. But it's got to help to some degree, I'd imagine. I was just watching a video the other day. I caught what would have been... It would have put me up in the top, if not have won the tournament for me, out at Kingman, and I lost that fish. It was 16¼ inches or whatever, and I had it on the board. And as soon as I was getting ready to snap it, I got a video of it, so I'll release that here pretty soon, so you guys can.
My deal is, I think I caught I don't remember. I caught like a 16 or a 17-inch fish, and I was pumped and. Bass Kicking Outdoors was right there laughing at me because he's like, "You're gonna lose it, tee." And guess what? I freaking lost it too. There's a lot of cussing in that video and a lot of beeps.
Okay. Only digital photography will be accepted. Photos must be originals.
So leave your Polaroids at home,
Leave
boys.
your Polaroids at home, folks. Untouched, unaltered. Do not resize your photo. Rulers may not be drawn, handwritten, or stenciled. Measuring devices must be clear, unmodified, official rulers. These will be subject to inspection at the beginning of every event. So that is something that we may do, and we may do it randomly, or we may not do it at all. But if I ask to see your board and you don't produce me a board, you can just go home. Okay. Retractable tape measure devices. So yeah, we're not doing. So we already talked about the measuring devices, and those are the only ones. Okay. Now, your best 5 tournaments will count towards AOI standings. We're going to allow you to drop your lowest 3 scores. Excuse me. So we are going to be fishing 8 tournaments this year. Your best 5 will count towards AOI. Sorry, guys. So
I guess I'm that boring.
So yeah, I mean, if you lose some fish in a tournament, or you just don't have a good turnout, you don't have a good showing, then you can drop your 3 lowest. So I would definitely encourage everybody to fish all 8 if you can, and that way, you can pick your 5 best events.
Yeah, just remember, Marco, I'm still coming for you.
I mean, it makes a big deal.
He's won. How many has he won? How many
3.
AOY? 3 out of how many years?
6 or 5.
Yeah, so he's already got, yeah.
5. So he did every other year.
So every year that he's done it, he's won.
Do what?
So 5 years. So pretty much every other year.
Every other year. So the first year, and then the second year, Richie won, then Marco won, then Jay won, then Marco won. So
and now it's Joel.
So this year is not Marco's year if we're going by stats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But I just got done.
I'm calling it right now, boys. I'm gonna catch a 24-inch fish.
I just got done talking to Marco, and he said he's going for 2 in a row. That's his goal.
Sorry, bud. There's your hopes and dreams right there. Oh, sorry, bud.
Tournament entry fee is $30 per event. Payout is 80%. So we'll pay out 80% of the pot. 10% of the pot goes to AOY, and then 10% will go to the club fund to help cover the things that we talked about earlier.
But that's still a big chunk of money, though. Because 30 times 30 is what? Like 900
I mean,
or something like that?
If we have 30 anglers, yeah.
So it'd be, what, 900 minus 20% to be like 7?
I mean, you're
$700
only taking,
for 30. If, say 30 guys show up, you can still win $700.
You're talking $24 per angler is what. So I would expect to have about a 20 angler average. I'm hoping for. Last year wasn't nearly there. I mean, I think we were talking more like 10 or 15. I think this year we'll be closer to 20. 1 to 9 anglers pays first place. 10 to 19 pays first and second, and then 20 to 30 pays up to third. And then how we'll do third place, we'll figure that we'll do 55%. So we'll take the 20% out of the equation, and then I'll take first place will get 55%, second place will get 30, third place will get 15%. So that's kind of how that'll break down. Big bass, which is optional, we talked about that. That's $10 per person, and that'll get paid out of. Oh man. That'll get paid out 100%.
Gotcha.
So, and then the Aoy scoring, that is something that we changed up a little bit for this year as well. So this may not be new to you, but this is something that the Southeast guys did. If you watched that last Behind the Reel with Jacob Ward, he mentioned how they did it. I really liked it. And this sets apart first place from the other top finishers. So first place will get 100 AOY points. Second place will go to 98.
Mm-hmm.
And then third will be
so
97,
we're getting
96.
the AOY at 2 points instead of just 1 point above, right?
2-point advantage. AOY will get a 2-point advantage. So if you have somebody that is consistently fishing up in the top 5 or whatever, and they win a couple of those first place, then they're gonna really be able to set themselves apart. So I really like that. You'll get 30 points.
Man, I am boring as heck. Look at that. That's a
Sorry,
second
I guess
yawn.
I stayed
Jeez
up.
Louise, dude.
I stayed up too late trying to prepare for this and getting all my stuff set up. You'll get 30 points just for participating. So now, more than likely, you're going to be able to remove that 30-point score off of your your final score, because you have an opportunity to drop your 3 lowest. So
Gotcha.
you shouldn't need that 30-point buffer there, but it's there if you do need it. Let's say you only fish 5 events, and one of them you don't catch any fish in. That event you'll have a score of 30.
Gotcha.
So here we are on the website. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. The schedule, we kind of talked about that. Do you have any questions about these lakes? Have you been to any of them?
Only one
Are they
I've
all
been
gonna be
to is
brand new?
I've been to El Dorado catfishing. That's about it. Like, I know it's a good catfish lake there. I've been to Cali State Fishing Lake one time. That was just bank fishing and didn't catch a dang thing. Then we went to some like that was back when it was flooded like 2 years ago, and we went to some like runoff deal and we freaking slayed them there. So it
Where
was
at?
kind of weird, and it was in Arc City, and we actually slayed them there. I don't know.
But it wasn't Cali.
It wasn't Cali.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. Been to Winfield, never fished it. I was like, I don't really know any other ones besides Butler. You know, we fished there. I caught like 7. Got pictures of 1. Got a video of all 7.
There you go.
But I'm still trying to get RMP to, you know. I've been on John about that for a minute, dude.
He has been.
I will not relent.
So yeah, I mean, all these lakes have produced for us in the past. Winfield City Lake last year was our first year there. That one wasn't as the results weren't as impressive, but you know, it also that was the first time, and it was later on in the year. And so hopefully if we get some more people out there, I think there was only like 10 guys out there, so you know, if we get 20 guys out there or so, and I know there's some good fish out there, but hopefully we get some more intel on that one. Butler's always a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Butler's got big ones
What
in there.
did Ivan pull out last year, like a 22?
22 and a half, I think.
Yeah, it was just giant.
Big Hill's a good one. I mean, that one, I mean, I've seen 93 inches win that one before. I mean, it can get nuts. Cowley, that's another good one. You're probably looking at 80 inches. You know, Butler and Cowley, you're probably looking at, you know, mid 80s to win that one.
If I hit 5,000 subs, I'll take my kayak off the waterfall. You guys need to just look it up, man. There's a giant waterfall on Cali Lake, and
yeah, that'd be the end of your channel.
That would be. It'd be epic, though.
Go out with a bang. The mine lands, the strip pits, I think it took like 90 something inches to win that one last year. That's the one that the northeast or southeast Kansas guys fish, and it's old strip pits, and
yeah, I'm
Jacob
looking forward
talked
to that
about
one.
that one a little bit. He kind of elaborated on it, but they're old coal mine strip pits, so that's pretty cool. And then Eureka City Lake,
I don't even know where that one's at.
we're a little bit iffy. It's in Eureka, right outside Eureka. And that one's a little bit iffy. I've heard some things.
That's
that one,
east, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That one might be on the decline, but there's tons of docks, so that's why I chose that time of year, is because it's going to be a good time
Skip
of year
under, pitch under some docks.
to fish docks. And then El Dorado can be kind of hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's so much water there.
There's smallmouth in there, and that'll be a fun one. So, anyways, that's kind of our schedule. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else that we might be missing. Check out the website. Tell us what you guys think about that. If we're missing anything on the website, let us know. You should know how to get your membership paid through there. You should be able to keep an eye on the schedule.
Yeah.
And then as, you know, the pre-fishing stuff, you know, as the tournaments get closer, we'll be posting that pre-fishing off-limits periods. You can even get to our sponsors' website through ours. And make sure you guys, you know, show them some love, because they're going to give us prizes to give away to you guys this year. And we appreciate that. So make sure you check our sponsors out and spend some money with them when you're looking to upgrade gear, lures, whatever they may offer. And there's going to be some YouTube videos on these events this year. So we've got a few different channels.
4 or 5 different channels that'll be here. Because you got you got me, you got Bass Kicking Outdoors, you got Casual Bass Guy, you've got Recovery Bassin, and if my boy shows up from out west, that's 6. There's 6 anglers right there with just YouTube channels that'll cover that at every single event.
So that's going to be cool. We'll get to see several different perspectives on these events. We'll get us probably even weigh in on, you know, the payouts and kind of the recaps, and we'll get to see, you know, why you caught fish, why you didn't. We'll get to see some people lose some fish. We'll get to see some people.
Hi, that's me. My name's Joel. I suck.
So, no, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. There's going to be lots of stuff out there on YouTube for you guys to follow along. And
Instagram. John needs to get fired up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram's getting to be pretty big now for at least my channel. And I think Ivan's starting to post a lot more on Instagram.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've started to, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Do some shorts and post some of this stuff on there as well.
Yeah. That'll be good stuff.
Some of the YouTube TV or whatever they call it. But all right, man. Well, I guess that's about it. Are we missing anything?
Not really.
Okay. So this is just kind of a recap of, what fishing the Air Capital Kayak Anglers tournament series this year is going to look like. We'll probably see some questions arise in the coming weeks, but we feel like we've covered pretty much all of it. So we'll put the information out there if you guys have any questions. He's going to be a good resource. Check his channel out as well. It's Phat Basses TV.
With a PH.
PH. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to have you join us for the tournament season.
Let's take this moment right now to talk about this video sponsor. It is actually Save Your Rods. If you guys ever lost a rod in the lake and cannot get it back, Save Your Rods has a device that's built into the back of your rod that as soon as it detects water, it shoots out this little plug deal that's hooked up to 60 foot of braid. And that braid helps you retrieve your rod from the bottom of the lake instead of losing your $300 or $400 fishing rod. Give them a check out on Instagram or Facebook and tell them that John Moore sent you.
Dang, man. All right, I love it. So appreciate that, and yeah, I think he's gonna have some lures to probably for sale at some point, and
Yeah.
might even give some away to you lucky Air Capital Kayak Anglers along the way.
Yep, everything like I've been talking about. Everything in my kayak this year, besides hard baits, because I don't have a way to make hard baits. All my jigs and chatterbaits are gonna be sponsored from my AOT sponsorship, but everything soft plastic wise is going to be made by myself. And
That's cool.
so when I kick your butts, you guys will know where to get your stuff.
It'll be a little bit more rewarding catching them on your own
Oh,
baits.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited. It should be a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna sign off here. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the water on March 20th, Winfield City Lake. Be there, be square.
Better bring your big guns, Marco. I'm coming for you.
Later.